Right, everybody, we're going to dive into the world of XRP, the potential upside, what is Satoshi Nakamoto going to do with it, and some very interesting charts you need to be aware of if you're holding XRP. This video is a pretty bullish one, and certainly, in my opinion, is showing us that we've got a substantial move coming in less than a week when it relates to XRP. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. So, I dropped a video earlier on talking about the 80,009 Bitcoin that was on the move that we believe we know who it is, but this has sparked a new rumor. Satoshi Nakamoto, a lot of people believed it was him moving Bitcoin around. People think it's Roger Ver. Some people even think that it's actually David Schwartz from Ripple. Interesting perspective. Now, this kind of comes up every now and then, but there is a claim that recent testimony fuels that Satoshi Nakamoto owns XRP. Now, there isn't, just before I ruin your, next 2 minutes, there isn't actually substantial evidence that supports that. Equally, there's no wallet addresses, but you could never know. And this is an ongoing thing. The true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto obviously still remains subject to intense intrigue. Lots of people believe it could be one person, two, who knows? But a court statement back in 2023, authorized by Ripple's chief technology officer, detailed the situation. Despite enticing prospects, the declaration showed no substantial evidence of Nakamoto owning XRP. But the discussion does continue to go on. And maybe David Schwartz is, Satoshi Nakamoto. It would be pretty wild to think about. But again, it ignites the view. Lots of people kind of get really, really separated on what this looks like. I just put it in this video because I want to know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that Satoshi Nakamoto owns XRP, or do you think it's David Schwartz as well? Very interesting. Okay, let's bring it back to some pretty bullish news going on with XRP. We broke the fact that they're getting banking licenses. We talked about that $11.3 billion potential IPO. Well, let's talk about price action. Let's talk about whether we're going to see XRP move. And interestingly, I actually put out in a video, and I said it just as a comment, which said, look, we're not here for the price. And someone put in my comments, so shout out to you, said, of course we're here for the price, 2-bit. Well, let's talk about it. So, not the most enthusiastic chart in the world, but what this is the XRP ledger active receiving addresses. This is showing how much XRP has been moved, and you would be fooled for saying, well, 2-bit, this looks kind of pretty dead, nothing's happening. But actually, at these lower values, we're still talking about 45,600 addresses receiving XRP, interacting with the blockchain and making things happen. What's interesting is when you start to look at these spikes, June 22nd, an example, and also June 14th, when you overlay that into the chart, these are some of these big wicks up that we saw June 22nd here, this big green candle where we actually retested the top of this downtrend line. And likewise, if we go back to June 12th, you can see exactly the same happening. Okay, why is this therefore important? In my opinion, it shows the absolute desire and the money that's on the side that's going to flow into XRP when we see that break, that confirmation the market's going to the upside. Altcoins are rallying. There is going to be a huge amount of capital flowing into this market, even when we talk about things like ETFs and much more. Now, we can absolutely double down on that and show you this chart, which is, again, super interesting. This is the exchange outflow by transactional amount. And I've been talking about this for months, whether it's Bitcoin, XRP, AVAX, or any other altcoins, that the short-term holders are the ones that are selling. That's why my conviction is very strong in terms of this market is going significantly higher. Well, in the blue, these are wallets holding less than 1,000 XRP. And what you can see is it dominates the last couple of months in terms of those trade actions. Equally, over the course of the last week where we've seen depreciation in the value of XRP, it's all short-term holders. Look at the ones with 1 million. Look at the ones with 100,000 to 1 million XRP. You don't see them anywhere other than when we got massive moves up on some of those big spikes where profits were taken. But what we can confirm here is short-term holders are the ones that are selling. So we've got less capital going into exchanges, and we've got, in terms of selling, we've got the smallest bags. This is incredibly bullish for the long term and certainly for the price of XRP, specifically when you talk about things like RLUSD and what that impact is going to have. Now, experts are debating whether Ripple's strategic moves will impact XRP negatively. I don't think it will. I think the partnerships they've got, and there's a debate whether they're going to go and buy Uphold or not, I think only supports the narrative. RLUSD is the quickest growing stablecoin. We have a big bill coming in the US. Listen to this.
Well, right now, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and everything related to using financial payments on a blockchain is basically not regulated, not clear to consumers, investors, entrepreneurs how to use it, how to avoid federal prosecution. So in 2 weeks, we'll bring to the House floor the Clarity Act, which gives the rules of the road of how to invest in digital assets, how to trade them, how you can be a broker, and the market framework for digital assets, and will also bring to the House floor dollar-backed payment stablecoins, which we believe those two things will advance America's power around the world in financial services by extending the authority of the U.S. dollar as we move from finance in a traditional format to finance being carried out on a blockchain.
So with all of that, that could turn out to be pretty bullish in the short term for XRP. And when you take a look at the chart, it is looking as good as we've talked about. Yes, we're at 221 and we need to see a little bit of a breakout, but we might have one more week here for that upside push to break above. Don't forget, July 14th to July 18th, lots coming in terms of that stablecoin bill, Genius Act, as well as many, many more. And this absolutely could be very optimistic for XRP. We know that the US is buying big. We know that many people want to grab their Bitcoin, and more importantly, they want to grab XRP as well. So it is only a matter of time, in my view, before we see this breakout. And again, think about that chart we talked about. When XRP breaks out, it's going to be big, and we're going to see some big price actions as well. So let me know what you think of all of that in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.